Welcome to Inner Work Guidance with me, Shobhali. I am starting 2 new series this week. One will be Inner Work Guidance, so videos to learn how to be your own inner work guide. And second will be a series on my own weekly reflections. Every Sunday, you'll have a video on weekly reflections like this one today. And every Wednesday, there'll be an Inner Work Guidance video out on this channel. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. If this is the kind of content you're interested in, if you're interested in learning how to be your own inner work guide, how to be able to move deep into your inner world, into your inner psyche, make sense, understand what's happening for you, what's happening inside you that's creating the kind of life that is being created in the outside. These videos are also going to be as unedited as possible. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. So this is the first weekly reflection, and here are my reflections from this week. I've put them down. What I'll be doing is every week I will share the intention that I had for the week, and then reflections, not necessarily just on the intention, but reflections in general. And then I will also share my intention for the coming week. Yeah. And so then it'll be looped like that Sunday to Sunday. For the last week, my intention was very simple. Pause before anything and everything I do. Now, stuff is happening in my life, as stuff happens in everybody's life. I'll soon be talking about it in a few weeks from now. And so my intention was that, Shobhali, just pause no matter what you're going to do before any action. Pause, check in, and then act. That was my intention. And it was a fail. It sounds so simple, right? Like just pause. But I think just that pausing, especially when the environment is full of things that trigger the inside, is just so hard. And so pausing was kind of a fail. And just by the way, when I use the word fail, I don't really mean failure. I use it in the lighter sense of the word. But yeah, so pausing was a fail. And next week, I'm going to tweak that intention. But before the intention, let's dive into the reflections from this week. I have a small garden plot here near my house. And if you garden, you know that there are weeds that need to be taken out. You need to sow the seeds, the plants that you want. You need to sow the seeds of those plants, nurture those plants, and also keep weeding out the plants that you don't want, right? Now this week, what I did, as I kept weeding, instead of throwing the weeds outside, I just I took out the weeds and then let the weeds be in the garden, letting the weeds be cover for the soil. Because if there is nothing on the soil, it gets dried up by sun. Now, when the weeds that have been pulled out are put on the ground, they sort of act as cover. And then those weeds themselves, they're going to dry up and they're going to nourish the soil further. And as I was doing this and as I was seeing this play out in the garden, that the weeds, the plants that I did not need, instead of throwing them somewhere else, I let them be there. I just uprooted them, let them be there. And how this supported the garden, the thought that came to me was things that I don't like in my own self, right? Like maybe a sense of anxiety, anger, a sense of aversion, things that I don't like. Instead of sort of not wanting it, can I just to uproot? So the analogy of uprooting a weed inside my inner psyche, the analogy would be noticing. Oh, okay, look, this is an action, a behavior, a way of being that I don't like, that I don't cross out, don't like, that I don't want. Yeah. But now instead of trying to push it away, throw it away, can I notice that, oh, it's there, and let it be there. Don't engage in it, thus don't nourish it, don't nurture it. Let it be there. Let it be in the space. And you never know. It's gonna sooner or later turn into manure, because I am nature, nature is me. And so if in nature the weeds work as a cover for the soil and then nourish the soil, most likely these things in me that I don't want will also eventually nourish and nurture me. They'll act as manure for my inner world to grow, blossom. Yeah. So that was the first reflection. The second was I was sitting right here and I was doing my meditation practice, and my dog Brew, in one of the videos, I'm sure you'll see her. She came in and I was practicing. I was sitting, eyes closed. I was practicing, and she came in and she started licking me. And now, in most traditional mainstream practices, the idea would be to remove the distraction, right? So, like, push her away, or just sort of, let her not interfere in your practice. But this time, I allowed her in. I allowed her to lick me. I allowed myself to sort of caress her, and I continued my practice. And what came up for me was, can I allow life into my practice and not isolate my practice from life? Not take away all distractions of life, because that's not the life I'm living. I'm living a samsaric life. I'm living a life with other people, with other beings, continual interaction with them. And so, can I let them into my practice? And can I let my practice into them, into life? That, in fact, is going to be my intention for the next week. We'll see how it transpires. Okay? So that was reflection 2. The third reflection was this, about 10 days back, 12 days back, I started doing karmic life lesson readings for people. So far I've only done it for people that I've worked with in some form or capacity. Those of you who don't know me, I'm an inner work guide, and I specifically work with women, enabling them to sort of figure out what's happening in their inner psyche, inner world, through the nexus of coaching, therapeutic practices, and spirituality, and help them become their own guides, learn the right skills and ways to be able to do that for themselves. And so I offered it to them that share your birth date with me, place, time, date of birth, and I will look at what your karmic life lessons are for this life. And oh my God, goosebumps. The accuracy of the core wound, of this life's core wound that needs to be healed, and the purpose or the life lesson that needs to be learned. The accuracy was crazy. And I am very seriously considering to inculcate the karmic life lessons into the work that I do, because I think it's so easy to get that guidance, right? And it's right there. It's there for us to access. Why not access it? Yeah. So that was my third reflection. The fourth reflection actually it was my reflection, and it came from somebody who I work with. Rooted in Chaos is the signature program that I have, and we have a Rooted in Chaos membership space, monthly membership space. Every Sunday, I hold a live groups guidance session, 2-hour live group guidance session, and through somebody's sharing, as they were sharing what was happening for them, this is what came up for me. There are times when somebody is not nice to you, and you feel this feeling of, I will be with them the way they are with me, that I will be with you the way you are with me. And what that ends up doing is it ends up creating this sense of not okayness within, deeper within, even if on the outside you feel sort of satisfied doing what you did, but deeper within it just creates this not niceness. What is that not niceness? In that moment, you tried to be that person and you forgot you. Yeah. And so in that moment of trigger, whatever happened, part of you was like, okay, I'm gonna be with them the way they were with me. And so you're trying to be them. Probably that's not even who they are. They're also acting out of their own trigger. But in this whole exercise, you stopped being you. And so the inner and the outer alignment got off, right? And this inner outer misalignment, whenever the inner and the outer are misaligned, is when suffering, misery, issues, confusion, feeling lost, all of those things arise. Yeah. So yeah, those were my 4 reflections from this week, and my intention, as I mentioned, my intention for the coming week is to allow life into my practice. And so that would mean, as I'm practicing, as I'm, and any of you who have a meditation practice, you can also try it. As you're practicing whatever your meditation practice technique is, imagine as if you're practicing right next to somebody that you spend a lot of time with. Yeah, somebody either that you spend a lot of time with, or that you have a little bit of issues with, not major issues, just a little bit of issues, or somebody you spend a lot of time with. Imagine as if you're doing the practice sitting next to them. Yeah. And so in a way, that's you allowing practice in. The other way to allow practice in is, as you're sitting and practicing, instead of shutting out what's happening in the outside, allow in what's happening in the outside. In fact, this is also in Zen form of meditation. This is a practice where you're allowing it all in. Yeah. So yeah, so this is my intention for the coming week, to allow life into my practice and to allow my practice into life. I will tell you next week how it went. If you like the content, please do like. If you haven't subscribed, you want more of this, subscribe. If there is a question you have, if there's something that you constantly struggle with, put it down in the comments below. I'll ensure to include it in the Inner Work Guidance series, the videos that will be coming out on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, where I'll be sharing one skill, one thing, one way of working with any sort of emotional, relational problem, understanding your inner world, understanding how the inner world manifests in the outer world, all of that good stuff. And if you are somebody who has been working on them for some time and now are ready to really go deep within, really learn A to Z, everything involved on this path, I have my signature course is designed for exactly that. And it is very, very, very reasonably priced. You'll see the link is down below. Click it, go see if it calls to you, if it talks to you, sign up, and I'll also see you on the inside. All right, take care. See you next week.